Does a sports injury have you sidelined? Are you ready to get back in the game quickly and safely? With the most up-to-date technology to relieve pain and speed recovery, Dr. Michael Scarpone and his skilled team understand your needs. Beginning this August through October, Dr. Scarpone will be available Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturday mornings from 8 to 8:30 a.m., treating all athletes between junior high through college level. For more information and to see what other players and coaches are saying, find us on Facebook or visit us online.
Hey, welcome to Star Sportscast Week 5. This is Mike Mathison with Fred Younce, also known as 1.5 Bald Men. Speaking of which, how does your daughter like your hair, or lack thereof?
She keeps asking me where it's at, or when I'm going to get new hair, I should say.
Oh, you love 2-year-olds, don't you?
Oh, I love them.
Love them, because you can't give them back. Okay.
The law won't allow it.
Oh, I know. Mine's 18 and 15. Oh, baby. Okay. Week 5, and we have some really interesting games on tap this week, and the biggest one being Big Red going to Mathison. Yeah. Matheson's the only loss to Canton Glen Oak. Matheson's playing really good football. I was told through the grapevine this is a really, really, really solid Mathison team. Not that they all aren't, but this one's a little bit better than they have been in the past. Big Red, I think, found a little identity last week in beating Brook. I think Corey Stinson is playing some really, really, really good football.
He definitely found some consistency last week with, I think it was 13 to 17. If he's that accurate, their offense gets a lot better real quick.
The problem is you're going on the road, playing at Paul Brown Stadium where Big Red doesn't win.
Yeah.
And anytime you're on the road is hard, but when you go to there, when you go into where you go to the Mecca of football, it's just going to be a show and tell game for Big Red, really.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be an interesting matchup. Massillon put up 41 last week. They've been scoring pretty well.
Yeah.
Big Red's only given up 180 yards a game to opponents' offenses. It's going to be interesting to see what breaks there.
Right.
Big Red's defense is going to have to be everything it's advertised week after week. It's going to have to come in and shut down a very good Massillon team. And Corey Stinson's going to have to find that consistency he found last week with the accuracy, because Massillon is a tough team to run against. So he's got to make them back off a little bit so they're not just bunching up in the box against him.
And you have to value the football when you're on the road more than at home. I mean, you have to value the
turnovers, penalties.
You have to value the football. Another big Buckeye 8 match. This should be really good. St. C at 4-0 at Harrison Central 4-0. Harrison Central and Kropka got their monkey off the back last week and beating his mentor and not just beat him 36-12, pretty much put a whooping on him. Yeah. I mean, that's just a really good game by the Huskies. And St. C did the same to Indian Creek. Harrison's given up, 8 a game? 8 points?
Yeah, just over 8 a game. And I don't think St. C's been held below 40 at this point.
And I watched a quarter of the St. C Creek game last week, and with all their weapons, the kid that really impressed me was Kinnick.
Yeah, he's so good.
St. C had a 4th and goal at the 1.5 at the right hash mark, and he made it to the left corner of the end zone. I mean, that's not exactly up the gut. I mean, that's a really good run, and I really like what he does for that football team. I really do.
Yeah, he distributes that ball so well. Before the Indian Creek game, Connor compared him to a point guard.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets it to all those weapons they have. He's very good. Harrison Central provides an interesting matchup because we've said all along, if you're going to beat St. C, you have to have a really good running game. You got to play good defense. Harrison Central's defense is playing well, and they got that kid Martise Hython, who's averaging almost 9 yards a carry at this point.
Yep.
Plus, you can't box in on him like you have in the past because Rasheem Mitchell has shown the ability to beat you over the top.
Yeah, Snoop will find someone.
Yeah, so it becomes an interesting matchup. I mean, obviously, St. C, we knew how good they were coming in. You have to look at them as a favorite. But Harrison Central is one of the few teams, when you look at the way they match up, actually you would look at us having a solid chance against them.
Exactly. And because Snoop's, I think, completing 63% of his passes, and he's got a couple different places to go to, including Nick Pellegrini at tight end.
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to be a fun game to watch.
Three touchdown passes against Martins Ferry.
Yeah, that's going to be a good game down in Caddis.
That helps out Martise a lot.
Absolutely. And now the interesting game is we got Catholic Central going to Oak Glen. Central's 2-2. As we have said before, 2 plays away from being 4-0, but in reality, you're 2-2. Oak Glen is 2-2, but a different 2-2. They won their first 2, lost their last 2, including including John Marshall last week getting their first win, and pretty much taking care of Oak Glen. Battle of the differences because Central likes to throw the ball over the place, and Oak Glen doesn't. They like to get Bub Haddocks on the wing, on the edge, but as a quarterback, not exactly throwing the ball.
Yeah, he likes to run it. One thing about Central we've seen an improvement is in their defense. They played a very solid half against Columbiana before Columbiana was able to kind of break free in the second half. What they did to Toronto 28 carries, 31 yards last week running the ball.
Yeah.
Could not. Now, mind you, Oak Glen has a better line and probably a better running game than what Oak Glen has. But what I saw Toronto, sorry. But what I saw Central do was their ends and their outside linebackers played very smart football. They knew Toronto wanted to get the outside. Oak Glen wants Haddocks outside. If they play smart like that, contain Haddocks to the middle, they can slow down this Oak Glen offense and give Cole Bell and company a chance to do what they do.
Yeah, which is find like 8 different receivers and give the ball to Maslowski.
4 different kids with 12 or more catches.
Yeah. They give the ball to Dougie or give the ball to Potenzini or just, But once again, Central has to value the football too.
Yeah,
they have to value the football.
And their offensive line needs to step up because Colabella got some pressure early in that Toronto game, and they struggled till late in the second quarter offensively. If Oak Glen's able to get pressure on Colabella and make him uncomfortable, then that passing attack gets slowed down too.
Right.
So it's a very interesting matchup going in this.
It is. And now another matchup we have across the river, Liberty at Weir. Both teams are winless. Yeah. Both teams looking for that magical first win. Yeah. Weir's getting better. I mean, just by the scores, you could tell they're getting better. You knew this wasn't going to be an easy year anyway. Yeah. It just wasn't. And when you're coming off 3 straight 1-9 seasons, it's not exactly you can turn it around with some pixie dust and little Tinkerbell stuff and there's not William Larch is a good player. They've got some good kids who are playing, and if there's going to be a time, now's the time.
Yeah, Weir has an issue at tailback. They've had 2 kids leave the team that were playing at tailback, and now their 3rd-string tailback has been injured.
Yeah, and they've been hurt.
So they're looking at a freshman playing who has a lot of potential, but he's a freshman. But I compare this game kind of when Weir played East Liverpool last year, and both needed that. Both were struggling. Best athlete on the field won the game.
Yeah.
Marky Tompkins for East Liverpool did that. Larch could potentially be that against Liberty this week.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely agreed, because he's a horse.
Yeah, he really is.
A talented kid. Park at Brook. Park is 2-2, playing a much better game at University than Brook did the week before at University. Brook is 0-4 and struggling. Park has a really good running game, and they're going to have to carry that. If Park's going to go to the playoffs, they're going to have to use their running game to go to the playoffs. Yeah. Obviously, the playoffs in Brook aren't exactly mutually exclusive right now, but this is a point in time when you're a senior on an 0-4 team. You can choose either pack it in or suck it up and be a good teammate and try to find a way to get your team to 5-6-4, win 5 in a row, 6 in a row. But uphill battle for the Bruins. Yeah,
this is the game they're going to have to step up, and if they don't turn it around now, it could get ugly from here. And I'm not saying they go winless. I'm just saying this is the game if they want any hope of salvaging a season where they make some sort of run into the West Virginia playoffs.
Yeah.
It has to start against Park, and it starts with stopping that run game. Again, they need to find somebody consistently to help Buck Melter. Buck Melter is going to have too much trouble carrying a team when the whole defense can focus just on him. Especially against a team like Park. Park is a solid team. They're not going to get beat like that. So somebody's going to have to step up and help Buck Melter out this week.
All right, and then we got Edison at 1-3 against Buckeye Local at 2-2, and our boy, the round mounder rebound, Sobo, Brent Sobleski's alma mater. Yeah. Buckeye Local pretty much had a hard time last week with Bel Air's passing game. Edison lost to UL, which snapped UL's 22-game losing streak. Yeah. So both teams are coming off sore losses, and both teams looking for a win. Boys, it could be anything in this game.
Yeah, Edison. Seriously, Edison could be sitting at 3-1 when you really look at it. They've shot themselves in the foot more than they've lost 2 of those games, minus the Carrollton game. Penalties and turnovers. Last week against UL, they were up 12-0 at half. 6 total turnovers in that game, 129 yards and penalties, I think it was.
Oops.
Can't win games that way. If they can eliminate that stuff, this is a team capable of giving teams trouble. I talked to Coach Pest. He said he's really impressed with Edison's front line. Yeah. He feels like he's going to have to throw more than he likes to typically. But Duncan showed to be a very dangerous receiver, 61-yard touchdown catch, 100 yards receiving. They can do that now. So it's gonna be a fun matchup. Both teams looking to kind of get things rolling, and we're just gonna have to see which team can do that.
Yep. Now we go to Toronto Friday night, and you got Valley at Toronto. And, you've seen Toronto. Toronto does some really nice things. They really, really do. But when you're playing that many freshmen and that many sophomores, you're going through growing pains, and that's what Toronto's going through. You're going through growing pains. Valley is also struggling, although they do have a win. Toronto can get off the schneid this week, but they just need to make sure that they look forward to what they're doing. They understand that they just have to get better. And they do, offensively, they do some good things. And defensively, they do some good things. But when you play that many young kids, there's going to be mistakes.
Coach Meek has been saying since before the season started, D6, it's about injuries.
Yeah.
They had been staying healthy and improving. Well, last week against Central, they lost Chadwick.
Right.
Ches Glenn was limping, and I don't know how bad that was, but I think he's okay to play. But you had a couple kids besides Ched limping around. That is not a good sign for Toronto. Hopefully those kids can be back on the field and be fully healthy. They have a lot of speed out there. They really do. And if they can get a couple plays, get some confidence, you get either of those Glenn kids sit outside or Charles Ross III.
Yeah.
They're gone. Next thing you know, you get a little hop in your step. That offensive line's blocking a little bit better.
Right.
You're hitting a little better on defense. They need something to boost that confidence a little bit, and hopefully against Valley they can find that.
Did you ever have a hop in your step?
No.
No, I didn't think so. I didn't either. I was like white man can't jump. Yeah,
No.
We understand.
I stood in claps, remember?
That's right. That's right, baby. He's really
Go
good.
Blue.
It's so bad. All right, last Friday night game, Madonna at Cameron. Cameron's 2-2. Madonna's 3-1. Madonna needs to go on the road. They're getting kids healthy. I think they're pretty much healthy. They need to go on the road and pretty much take care of this ASAP. They need to make sure they don't let Cameron hang around, because you just never know when teams hang around.
Right.
They did it last week against Fort Fry. They need to do it this week on the road with Comus and Osman and Nero and Biondillo and Will Bowser, and then the offensive line. Just I think once then Madonna gets to 3-1, and then they can start their playoff push.
Oh yeah, I think the key is they just need to come out, use that explosive, balanced offense to jump out to an early lead. I think they're the better team. They just can't let Cameron think they can play with them.
Right, I agree.
If they do, Cameron's good enough to defeat them, but it's just a matter of enforcing their will early in the game and pulling away.
Cameron's averaging 30 a game, so they just need to make sure they take care of the job. Now the interesting game on Saturday is at Nelson Field, where Creek goes to Bel Air. Bel Air's 4-0. I think they're first in the region in Division 5. I think it's Division 5, 17, I believe. Oh, no, I'm wrong. Sorry, but I'm wrong. But Creek's coming off a big loss to St. C. But if you're gonna get ready for a Bel Air team that throws the ball 400 times a game, you might as well play St. Clairsville. Yeah. And because St. C, obviously they run the ball with Jalen Brown, but they like to toss it all over the field. I still like Creek in this game. I think their athleticism is good. I think their athleticism is better than Bel Air's. They just have to be assignment sound on defense, especially in the secondary. When you throw the ball that much, your defense can get tired. And McClellan and the boys need to put some pressure on Spencer Badia.
Oh yeah, I mean, surprise, surprise, Bel Air's going to come. They're going to throw, and they can score points.
Yeah,
that's not a shocker to anybody. I think Indian Creek is a better all-around team. They have depth on that defensive line, which helps a lot with getting pressure on Badia. Like you mentioned, the two McClellans. You got Zach Connor is seeing some time from linebacker down to defensive end. They have some athletic kids down there that can, Bobby Lenko at defensive tackle.
Right.
He's tough kid, tough as they come. They have some defensive linemen, and they can rotate them in and out. And if you can get pressure on that Bel Air offense, if you can get pressure on that quarterback Badia, their offense doesn't look as explosive.
No, I understand
That's the key. If Badia has time, he's going to find somebody because he throws to everybody.
Exactly.
But I think the defensive line, the athleticism, and the depth there is just the
I
difference.
think what Creek can do, they can manage the game on the ground with Logan Woods and Blake Rohr and Alex Young getting on the edge. I think they can manage the game on the ground a lot better than some other teams have against Bel Air.
Yeah.
But when you're playing against the quarterback that throws the ball that many times, you have to get pressure on the kid.
Oh yeah.
And not everyone's been able to do that.
Bel Air's the team. If you get up on them, you run up to score on. I'm not a proponent of running up to score on teams, but if you don't, ask Central. You could be up whatever.
Yeah,
They
be up
keep
25.
throwing. They
Exactly.
keep throwing. And if you shut down the offense too soon, they get momentum. Next thing you know, a couple of plays, it's a different game again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree with you. If you're up 44-10, you got to make it 51-10
Yeah.
just to make sure that they have an extra score if they start coming back.
because Jose Davis doesn't look at a score and say, "Oh no, we're out of this game." He says, "Oh, 2 more plays and we're back in it." You know,
Exactly.
that's his mentality. So
Yeah, because that's the way he had when he played.
exactly.
It was
When
exactly.
he played, he didn't fall behind. though. He was that good.
Yeah, exactly.
I watched it.
You
in
watched
person.
it from the
yeah.
You watched it from the bench, right?
Yeah. No, yeah. We beat him though my senior year.
Did you play?
No, because it was too close.
See you next week. Later.
So,
Okay,
this
okay.
is our forecast for week 5 of the 2012 high school football season. And then just pause.
Okay. This is the Star Sportscast for Week 5 of the 2012 high school football season. Brought to you by our favorite athletic supporter, Trinity Health Systems.
That's hilarious.
There we go.
That's what you should use.
We're going to see